Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Welcome to New Life Live. Chris Williams in for Steve Arterburn. I have Dr. Jill Hubbard with me today.
Hello, Chris.
And Dr. Alice Benton with me.
Hi, folks.
I have the doctors in. Okay, so I have a confession.
What?
You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. With bated breath, right? I love Halloween. Can I say it? I love it. So it's Friday.
Okay, I do too.
Friday, October 29th, right? So yes. Okay.
Well,
I don't, so I'll be the opposition.
Okay,
You're like my wife.
Okay,
Yeah.
but see, fall is my season. Can't you tell?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yep.
fall colors, fall everything. I love the fall.
Uh-huh.
So to me, Halloween is kind of the start, and then I love Christmas, and Thanksgiving too, right? So it's the start of kind of ushering in fall and all of the fall festivities.
Well, and my kids are still young enough.
Oh, yeah.
Where we had the dress, so later today we're going to have the costume parade at the elementary school.
There'll
be
fun.
candy. It'll be fun. We'll have a big
And
gathering
having an
and partying.
imagination,
Yes,
right? Dressing up is
absolutely.
about being imaginative
Absolutely.
and creative and trying on different, personas,
Yes.
So
right?
I'm going to be the rain on the parade then, because
Okay.
my young kids are very sensitive to scary content.
Okay, yes.
And the grotesque
yes.
billboards.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And the zombies that are climbing up out of our neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a little too much for us.
No, I agree that my sons, especially my younger one, is much more sensitive as well. But I think that's really important, Alice, because we don't want to be oblivious to the impacts that scary or grotesque or even sometimes, evil demonic things can have on ourselves or our lives. But I mention this because, not to determine it for anyone else, but for us, we want our kids to participate. We want to participate. I want to participate. But it's important that we make it what it is. That we take control of what it means for our family, what it means for us, what it means for the people around us.
Our church puts on a very innocent program for the younger
Yeah.
kids,
Yes,
and my kids
yeah.
are thrilled to be going
Yeah,
to
that's
and we'll
really
all have fun at it.
Yeah, that's really fun. And you can lean away from the gore, which I always did. I like happy pumpkins, right?
Yes, yeah.
And orange versus a lot of black, right? But also it's a time to, like you said, to be empowered, because it's a time of scaring away evil,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And so that's what we want to do. We want to scare away evil and not let evil scare us.
Yes, absolutely. And so, and this one of the things we do is, we host a lot of people, family and friends from our neighborhood. And our neighborhood's a little bit weird in the sense that we literally shut down the streets. We block off the
That's
streets.
kind of fun.
It's weird because you live there. That's
Yeah.
what your neighbors have been telling me.
Well, and
It's more weird. It's even more weird.
You know what? It is the one time a year where the neighbors come out, where you
Yes.
meet. That's
Yeah.
how I have met my neighbors.
Absolutely.
Is Halloween, and now I have a big soup open house.
Exactly.
Call it a harvest party,
Uh-huh.
and so neighbors come. It's very eclectic. Lots of different people come, and it's great.
And I think it's one of the ways that we can make subtle yet positive and significant impacts is
Right.
that, there's a reason why, especially in the Old Testament, we see God as the Lord of hosts, is that he hosts us well. He hosts us well with his creation and his love and his grace. And we want to be able to be participants in the Lord of hosts and
want
host
to be a light in the darkness,
exactly,
right?
and host other people
And loving
well.
on our neighbor.
Absolutely.
This is a good chance to do it.
Absolutely. So if you're with us today, stay on. We're going to get to your calls. We love talking with you, love hanging out with you. And if you give any amount in the month of October, in fact, this is the last day of October. And so if you give today, we're going to send you a copy of Understanding and Loving Your Child Who Smokes Pot. And so a really important book, really helpful information. And we're going to be back right after this.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Orange County, California, November 5th through the 7th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We're going to go straight to the phones. We're going to talk to Diane in Atlanta, Georgia. Diane, are you there?
I am.
Hi, talk to us.
I am. Are you there?
We are here too, and we're here for you. Talk to us. What can we do for you today?
I want to know if you can share with me on what an adult relationship looks like in families where your children are now in their 40s, you're in 50s, and you have grandchildren. What do they look like? What do you expect? We've come from a home of addiction, and we've moved through that when the children were in their 20s. My husband was in an addiction as well, which I wasn't aware of. So in the course of all this, there's been divorce. So now I'm functioning as the mother row with daughter-in-laws and sons. We've come through, thank God, all of that. But now you still have the aftermath of trying to function and learn how to function in healthy behaviors and learn how to address issues and learn what is my role as a mother-in-law and respecting my daughter-in-laws and their new home.
That is such a thoughtful, humble question.
Wow.
Yeah, you're on to a really good start.
Diane, were you active in addiction as well? What was your addiction?
I was at one point in a sexual addiction. I had an affair. My husband, I wasn't aware when we first married, but he later told me that he had had multiple affairs through the whole marriage, and where I was just rejected, basically, and I acted out myself. And then when I went back, I tried for like 15 years, realizing there was something wrong, but just didn't know what it was. And then at that point, then he became honest and moved and filed for divorce to pursue his addictions.
Wow.
Would you tell us about your best attempt to address what your kids went through because of you and your husband?
I think on my children, my concern on one of my children is I think at me being 16 when I was married and being victimized, and during that time I was pregnant with him. So my one concern basically is in his marriage now, because I think he will function more as a rescuer. And having to deal with that scenario. He may not be aware of what he's doing, but I think I'm aware of what he's doing.
But I'm going to go back, Diane, I'm going to go back to the question of what have you done to reconcile with your children, addressing what you and your husband put them through?
That's a good question that you're asking.
Oh man.
Darn.
Diane, give us a call back. Try to give us a call back. But let's address this, because I know that the circumstances can be different. Diana's situation is complicated because of the pain of addiction that the family was going through, but it still remains, all of us are going to face with our parents and children and families.
It's a good question.
How do we,
even if you didn't have addiction in the family,
what does it look like?
Yeah. What does it look like?
Well, and I think it starts with the understanding of what she said is, what is my role and what is not my role. And I think that what is not my role is a good place to start. What is not my role is to advice give my kids. That job's done. Or is to control their behavior or change their behavior. And it's also not to be the primary caretaker unless there is some sort of truly debilitating condition that our children are dealing with. But the caretaking role is over.
Right. And the number one position as number one female in her son's life is over.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
He's leaving and cleaving, and she has had to hand him over, and now she needs to be in a secondary role.
Yes.
That is someone there that's loving them together, right? And honoring the role of the daughter-in-law.
Yes.
Right? It's really important as a new daughter-in-law comes in, they're not as sure of themselves, right? And they're trying to establish themselves. And it takes, I think when people marry in, I know for me it took a good 8 years to blend into my in-law family.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Before I felt like I really had a voice in the family and kind of had my sea legs on. And so I think to remember that this is not a peer relationship. You are still looked at as somebody older, and sometimes I think moms forget that.
Yeah.
Right? They want to be friends, and they forget that they're in a position of kind of having been that authority.
Yeah.
And so there needs to be a lot of respect, I think, for daughter-in-laws.
Absolutely. It looks like we have Diane back. So Dan, hopefully you're hearing us, and I also want to say that how we really repair the past starts with the self. See, if I was the person in self-destructive behavior, the best thing I can do for the people around me is stop my self-destructive behavior.
Right.
And become healthier and healthier and healthier. And what that looks like, I think, in our relationships as adults to our adult children is being able to be what I call contained. That I'm not bleeding myself off to other people, especially my children, or taking on all of their stuff either. But that I have my own life, and that life isn't dependent upon my children's activities any longer. It may be a choice of being involved, but also it's not dependent.
I don't need them to sustain me.
Exactly.
And I think it's best if we can be in ongoing reconciliation with our children, because we frequently hurt our children, mess up, make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
So if in answer to the question, what have we done to reconcile, and if we think, gosh, maybe there hasn't been much, or I've avoided that conversation, it's hard to launch our children if we're connected to them through unfinished business and guilt that we feel for not having repaired the harm that we've done.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And I think, too, with addictions, Diane, you've said that you've all come through addictions, but a lot of addicts, once they are in sobriety or abstinence, realize that they have a lot of codependency issues.
Yes.
And so to be able to get involved in either Al-Anon or codependency groups will also help in your parenting.
And that really helps us gain that containment. Helps us identify what our boundaries are.
And you can go there and talk about it, right? And unload it. And then you don't have to have it linger onto your kids.
And Alice, I want to reemphasize that. It's like this is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's not a one and done. It's not a season. It's that these relationships develop over a lifetime, and we want to keep creating a safe place for that to happen.
Well, and I think to be able to listen to your kids, to invite them into conversation, as you were saying, is part of the repair, right? And let them tell you what they didn't like or what was hurtful to them, and be able to hear that.
Yeah.
I need to have a conversation of apology with my children and how did my behavior affect you about once a week, if not more frequently.
Oh, yeah.
That's how often I hurt their feelings.
Yes, and my almost 25-year-old daughter is giving me lots of conversation. about her views of my parenting.
Yes.
It's really a fun time in my house.
Alice, you and Mylan have really challenged me on that, with a question of what is it like for me to be your dad right now?
Yeah.
Or what, how have I hurt, or
What's
how
it
have
like to be on the receiving end of me, as Mylan always says?
And oftentimes I can't always see that because I'm in me, but like what they see is a 6'2", 210-pound male that's dominant, that when I escalate, when I escalate, it can have a pretty big impact on them.
My kid's most recent response was, "Mom, you're annoying a lot of the time, and you frustrate me."
Yeah.
All right, I can accept that. I can see that.
Yeah. Well, Diane, you really are on the right track, and we want to encourage you to keep staying in your recovery. And I really think that what Jill was touching on there is really important, is that get into the codependency recovery. As Alice was saying, make sure that you have the long view, not the short view in mind, that you're continuing working on becoming a safer person for your children. And you're having these ongoing conversations of what it means for them and what it means for you. We're going to send you a copy of Forgiving What You'll
Never Forget.
Thank you, Jill.
Dave's book.
Yes, Dave's book on forgiveness. I think that will help really give clarity through the past hurts and hangups. And Diane, thank you so much for giving us a call today. And with that, we're going to go to Sarah in Dallas, Texas. Sarah, are you there?
Yes.
Sarah, what's going on today?
I'm not sure exactly how to ask this, but my siblings and I grew up in an extremely violent and abusive household, and I witnessed things being done to other people. And I am over 60, have been through all sorts of therapies, learned all sorts of things, did PTSD therapies. I still have guilt. For some of the stuff I saw my father do.
Yeah.
Although I know I couldn't do anything.
Yes.
He would kill people.
Wow.
And run over people and do all sorts of things. And I said, I've been through all the therapies knowing that I was too young and I know I couldn't do anything, and he's dead, so I can't really retaliate in that way, although,
Yeah.
But I am a Christian. I became a Christian in college. The Lord has helped me deal with a lot of this.
Oh, yeah. Thank goodness.
I was blessed with being placed in different churches where I could pattern and learn how to be a good parent and things like that. But
that's great. So the question,
I grew up basically being a robot. So now that years later, I have feelings and realization of what happened and what I saw, and I still have guilt over the families will never know.
Yes, yeah. Well, and that's the when you shut down as a child, like all of that thing, all that stuff where that you go numb to goes away. But then as you wake yourself back up emotionally as an adult, that's where that guilt comes in. And so one of the things I want to encourage you with, Sarah, is that, and this may take some therapeutic guidance, some work with a counselor on, is reconnecting with that little girl. Because one of the things that little girl, she was obviously exposed to things that nobody on planet Earth should ever be exposed to, nonetheless a little girl.
Right.
But that's also an indication that her needs and her safety and her well-being were not taken care of. And so she is struggling, believing that there's something wrong with her. And she's inside of you. And she needs to be seen and heard and deeply, deeply cared for.
And I'm going to speak to her right now, Sarah, saying, kiddo, I know that you were forced to be the keeper of horrific secrets. It wasn't right. It wasn't fair. And I think that God is opening up some doors right now for you to start unburdening some of those secrets. And you're a brave girl because you're doing it right here with us. And we hear those secrets that you've been carrying. And we hear the evil that your father perpetrated. And we know that God has you in a process of healing.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, what are you feeling right now as we speak to that girl inside of you?
That she's not important.
I think that message came from your parents.
Yeah.
But that's not a message from God. Because God sees her as very important. And she needs some validation from you, Sarah.
She needs different parents.
Yeah.
She needs
you to be the good parent to her.
Absolutely.
And say, you mattered. You mattered as a little girl, even if your parents didn't see it.
Yeah.
I imagine Jesus opening his arms to you right now, Sarah, saying, let the little children come to me. He wants you, good. Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Sarah, you hear the music. We're going to go to a break here very shortly, and we're going to come right back to you. Again, this is a huge point of emphasis. There are so many resources that we have that can help you. Check us out online, www.newlife.com. We'll be right back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We have Sarah with us. And Sarah, you have just been through the truly unspeakable in your life, and especially in your childhood. And you're feeling it, and it's coming up for you today. And Alice, we were talking at break, you have some things for her.
Well, we know that God is inviting you into deeper healing and deeper freedom, Sarah. And so we advise the next step for you to be getting in with an individual therapist and starting to unburden these secrets you have, telling the stories of what you have seen with a therapist's guidance, and having a therapist pace you. Because you'll probably need to do this slowly with a lot of structure, because it's overwhelming to you and overwhelming to the child within you. And through that, you will begin to experience a lightening of the emotional, spiritual, and guilt burden that you've been carrying.
Yeah.
And you were recommending a certain type of therapy?
Yeah.
What are you thinking now?
I was thinking there is this type of therapy that works really well with especially complex childhood trauma, and it's called IFS, or Internal Family Systems. And so, Sarah, I want to encourage you to reach out and look for someone who is trained or specialized in IFS that can help really access that girl inside of you who was damaged. And we're going to send you a copy of
Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, Sarah.
Yes.
It's the book I co-authored with Leslie Leyland Fields. And it really talks about some horrific family situations and some parents that probably should not have been parents. And then how do you carry on through that?
And stay on the line because we'll connect you with a therapist that fits these characteristics we're describing through our network of counselors.
So, Sarah, thank you so much
thank
for
you for
calling
sharing
in
and trusting us.
Absolutely. As Alice had mentioned, God is inviting you, as he invites all of us, into deeper healing. We see that ministry worked out in the Gospels over and over and over again, and we're just participating in that. I also just want to, because I don't think we've brought this work up enough, but many of us have conflicting and hard and difficult relationships with our parents, and we need to experience freedom from that. And so the book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, is a great resource. Check it out. We have another great resource for us here in the room today.
A living resource.
A living, breathing resource.
Ask me anything.
So, Larry, what do you have for us today?
I want to remind ladies that this is the last day to sign up and get a $200 discount as an early bird discount for the Restore Workshop coming up in just 2 weeks, November 12 to 14 in Washington, D.C. So can't encourage you that a month. And I chose a shorter testimony this time. I take too much time sometimes. Jill, why don't you read that? It's from a woman.
My husband went to Every Man's Battle 6 months ago. He came home with a plan and a new purpose. I watched him thrive in his recovery, but I was drowning and I didn't know where to go or how to process my recovery. The workshop was eye-opening. I felt truly encouraged and validated in my feelings for the first time since my husband's disclosure. I have been given tools to own my recovery, to help keep my husband accountable, and feeling supported by 77, and I'm feeling supported by 77 women around the country.
Pretty powerful, folks. And there's two things I wanted to point out. One is, guys, you need to go to Every Man's Battle. And you come home and you start to work, you're going to be a witness to your wife. You can tell her anything you want to tell her. It doesn't mean anything. What you do will mean the whole world.
Yes. Yeah.
So if she sees you thriving and in recovery and doing well, connecting with other guys, she's going to want what you have. And the first step will be her going to Restore Workshop. So I want to encourage that. And I want to encourage folks to make a donation to New Life. We want to keep doing this forever. This ministry can go on for many, many more years, but you are our manna. When you make your gift, that's the manna from heaven for us to just keep doing it day by day. And while I wish that some multi-billionaire would give us that much money, it would probably ruin this ministry because we wouldn't be depending upon the Lord for what we need to depend.
Well, the other thing is that we want your partnership.
Amen.
So we obviously ask for your resources, but there are more resources than just finances. So hear me clearly. We need the finances to keep going. We also need your prayer. We need your verbal support. We need you listening to the show. We need you sharing it with friends. And that way more and more people can walk through the doors of the healings that God offers through our ministry.
And if you have given and continue to give to New Life, I got to say thank you. And I want you to know that when we read testimonies like this on the air, that's a thank you. You were part of that. You helped that happen. God intervened. God did a work. The Holy Spirit moved a heart and a mind. But it all started with you giving a gift so that we can continue to do what we do.
Folks, I'll confess to you that I was very reluctant to give, even though I was soaking up New Life shows left and right, listening. And once I finally became part of the New Life family, I felt like I was a part of this bigger kingdom work that is taking place through New Life. So if you're a reluctant giver like me, today's the day to change your mind and jump on board with us.
We have a lot of resources. We are now YouTubers here at New Life, and so check out our YouTube channel for all kinds of content that gives you biblical guidance on handling, some of life's toughest situations. Please like and share, subscribe to the channel. That helps us out a lot. So help make us YouTube famous. Check us out on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we're going to be back right after this. And if you need help, give us a call.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We're going to jump right back to the phones. We're going to talk to Larry in Lincoln Park, Michigan. He is listening on Sirius XM. Larry, are you there?
Yeah.
Larry,
I am. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Not too bad, I guess. Not really.
Well, you're calling into the show.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird question, but I guess it's not weird. I have prayed for a lot of years. I'm way over 60, and I've prayed for a lot of years to overcome a lot of my different things and problems that we all have. And I'm addicted to porn. I do a lot of bad things, and I've got worse instead of better over the last 10 years, and I'm not getting no better, no matter what I do.
Larry, other than prayer, have you done anything else?
Well, I've gone to therapy, but it never seemed to work out. I've gone back and forth with that. I've had a lot of bad things happen to me, throughout my life. But I would just say I was born with a lot of physical bad problems and a lot of abusive situations, but I mean that's all in the past for me and all that. But
well, Larry, let me jump in
for a while.
But Larry, let me jump in. Let me jump in. I would love for that to be true. That was all in the past. But our pain stays with us. Our unhealed, unresolved pain stays with us. And then it shows up. And many times what it shows up as is we need to medicate it. Every person on planet Earth has a threshold, right? A pain threshold. And if we reach above that, we're going to tap out. And the tap out oftentimes looks like medicators. That's where addictive issues come in. That's where things like porn or drinking or using drugs or whatever the case may be that works for us to feel relief from the fear and relief from the pain. And so there's a lot of work yet to be done here.
Well, if I pray for God's strength to help me, and I pray for years and years, you know, when I was a kid, I mean, I always felt abandoned by God.
Yes.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know,
that makes sense.
And as life went on, I mean, things got better. I did this and that, got married, you know, we're separated and all that stuff. But I even took care of the parents that really abused me pretty good. I don't even like talking about that because it just makes me, you know, I've talked about it with enough counselors, but most counselors don't like to hear everything that I've gone through. I don't usually last good with a counselor, maybe 6 months, and then they kind of make excuses like, I used to think it was me, then I wrote it down, went through 12 counselors in 2 years.
And what excuses did they make?
And a lot of them would say, well, I'm getting busy and I don't have time for this, or, you know, because I work a lot. And I would say, I can only do this at this time. And they would set it up. Then all of a sudden, you know, after about 6 months to a year, or even before that, you know, and I used to think it was me, you know. I was thinking,
right. But, and I'm wondering what point you get to. I'm wondering what point you get to in therapy, right? I'm imagining that it's kind of the same point where you get that then everybody feels stuck. Mm-hmm. And it's, I hear you.
I don't know.
I hear you saying you feel stuck, and so there's something about that stuckness, I think, that fills up the room.
I'd be all right with stuck, but I'm getting worse. I'm worse.
Well,
than I was.
We do get worse. We do get worse without proper interventions. I'm wondering, Larry, the porn, has that continued? Are you still in porn addiction? Okay, because sometimes we have to deal with things in layers. And sometimes we have to start with the thing that isn't like we always talk about the root, but sometimes to get to the root, we have to peel back some of the layers. And if you are continuing to do pornography, then all of the praying in the world, right? It's like God saying, you've got something in the way here.
Yeah.
I can't work with this in the way.
How do I overcome it if I can't do it by my own strength?
That's a fantastic.
That is the $1 million question, Larry. Yes. We got the answer for you.
We do have the answer for you, Larry.
And Larry, you called the right show. Every man's battle is specifically designed with you in mind.
Been there twice.
Okay, go there a third time. I'm dead serious about this, okay? But
I can't do it a third time.
Hey, we got scholarships for you.
I can't right now.
Larry, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I know, but right now there's no way.
Sir, I'm going to guess that the 2 times you went, how long did you stay connected to the Sustained Victory afterwards, to the men's group?
Maybe 4 months, and everybody just quit calling each other.
Gosh, Larry, everybody leaves you. No wonder it feels like God has abandoned you too, and your prayers just keep hitting a ceiling. I'm going to guess as well, Larry, that when people...
I'm the last one left alive in my family besides my wife, my ex-wife. Yeah.
You're just swimming in pain. And you have been reaching out to people, but everyone disappoints you eventually. And I wonder if when people pull back from you, if you also pull away from people and you stop trying for a little while, you stop trying to connect because the world keeps hurting you. Is that true about you?
Yeah, to a point. You know, I try to be nice to everybody. I kind of put on a facade, but I scare myself, to be totally honest with you, because I get very mad.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
So Larry, here's what's going on, man. You are dealing with a tremendous amount of abandonment trauma, and that abandonment did not start in your adulthood. You're playing a story out over and over and over again.
Keep replaying it.
And it's a self-perpetuating belief about yourself. Like you said, you're mad. Why are you mad? You're mad because you're mad about yourself. That you're believing that you're not good.
I don't know. I feel like I'm mad at God.
Oh, certainly.
Well, you got a lot of reason to be mad at God.
Certainly, because he's not fixing your problems, right? And so.
Well, yeah, but you know, I would use the problems I'll tell you just a few things. I was born with spina bifida. Mm-hmm. I had a heck of a time walking, but I did it. And then I had temporal lobe epilepsy, brain aneurysms, broken bones. My stepfather broke several bones. But in all that, you know, I overcame. I did better.
Yes.
You know, and I put that behind me. I even took care of him before he died.
Yeah. So Larry, hear me out. And here's what I just want to keep leaning in. The first thing I want to let you know is that when we read the 12th chapter of Hebrews, we see that, the 11th chapter of Hebrews, we see that God had promised many things for these people, but the promise wasn't going to be real until the afterlife. That God's people do suffer. That they don't, you know.
That's also promised. We don't get 100% healing.
You were dealt a raw deal. Let me just say that. A bad hand. And so you have overcome, but the one area that is kind of the final frontier is overcoming relational struggles. The ability to connect with people over a long period of time. My best guess, and I think I'm right when I say I think, I know I'm right, is that when people get too close to you, too close to your core, too close to your center, there's something inside of you that reacts and pushes them out. And that includes therapists as well. And so I want you to...
I don't know about that. I tried so hard with the last two. It was amazing.
Okay,
you know, my brother, before he passed away, used to tell me, you have the worst luck of anybody I have ever seen.
I don't want to.
And I've been told that.
Yeah, I don't want to undermine that. But again, because we're very, very close to, intimate with the process of every man's battle, again with sustained victory. Even reaching back out to your counselor, seeing like, hey, can I re-up in a sustained victory group? Do something to re-up. But I know this definitively, beyond a shadow of a doubt. If porn is still active in your life, shame is still active in your life, and relational brokenness is still active in your life, if that isn't taken care of, nothing else will change. I can guarantee you that.
And if your anger is scary to you, it is off-putting to the people around you. I'm going to say this out of care and concern for you, Larry. Although you keep entering into therapy, there's also a resistance that I hear from you to go as deep as you would need to go to get through that anger into your grief. And so I think your task is, even if people give up on you, that you don't give up on yourself. You keep pursuing therapy and a men's group as some of the highest priority in your life, because you won't get healing alone. And God answers prayers through the people in your life. So fight to find and keep good people in your life, Larry.
And Larry, we're going to send you a copy of Healing as a Choice, and want you to keep staying encouraged. I know we're challenging you today, but we're encouraging you, inviting you to stay on the path. God is with you, and this takes work, and it usually, like me, takes the rest of your life to work out. So join me in that journey, and we'll be back right after this.
Most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals. all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and we're going to go right back to the phones. We're going to go to Maria in Fort Worth, Texas. Maria, are you there?
Hi,
Hello?
Maria. There you are. Hello.
Maria, talk to us. What do you have going on today?
Yes, how are you doing? That door didn't close right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you for taking my call. I have a question regarding this relationship, and it's a long story, but long story short, my husband and I have been living separately for it's going to be a year in January. And a little bit of history, we were living together at his parents' house, and we had a big fight, and he ended up asking me to leave. So I left with my 2 daughters, a couple of our belongings, and a couple of months passed. We still were like in a rough, spot as far as how we treated each other.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to co-parent, and then after about 5 or 6 months, the whole time I was under the impression that he didn't want to be with me anymore. So I went through my grieving process, and then I reached acceptance around the 8th month, just recently. I accepted it. I was like, okay, he doesn't want to be with me anymore. Maybe he fell out of love with me. I don't know. But I was finally okay with letting go and letting God.
Yeah.
Well, about 2 months ago, my husband expressed to me that he's never stopped loving me, that he loves me and that he loves his family, and that he wants his family back, basically. And he admitted that he made a mistake and that he's very sorry for what he did. And so after that, actually a little bit before that, we had been having sex. We had been intimate. And so it's, now it's been a couple of months of us, I guess I want to call it dating, but we're still married. We're legally married. We've never got divorced officially. So, but for some reason, when we have been intimate, I feel a sense of I don't know, it doesn't feel right.
Okay, because of time, ask us a question. What's a question we can help you with?
Okay, my question is, do you think that should I continue to be intimate sexually with my husband, even though we're married, so I'm not breaking God's law?
So hold on. Don't overthink this, because it's a simple answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you an answer, but then I'm going to let my 2 esteemed colleagues jump in on this. Quick answer is no.
Right.
And it's no, because Maria, there's something within you that tells you I should be intimate with a man that doesn't love me and doesn't care about me and has abandoned me and my girls, and yet I should still be sexual with him. So there's some sort of a tolerance within you, maybe a lack of knowing your own value and worth. So I worry that your judgment about your own self-protection is faulty right now, that you are willing to accept, I don't even know if they're crumbs from the table. It seems to be even less than that. What I would hope for from you, instead of being sexually intimate with him, is asking him to do structured character work on himself to figure out why he abandoned you all, and now why does he have a change of heart, and is the change of heart in a change of behavior, and then let the evidence of that direct whether or not you should entrust your heart and your body back to this man that was willing to kick you out of his parents' home.
And Maria, you're right. Technically, you're allowed to have sex with your husband, whether you're living in the same house or not. But emotionally, I think what Chris and Alice are saying is that it kind of feels cheap, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yes, exactly.
Like you're being used by him.
Right, yes. And so he's getting his needs met, but I'm not hearing that you're getting your needs met. And let's work towards emotionally rebuilding this marriage before you give yourself back to him in that way. Because especially for women, we need that emotional connection to fully give ourselves, or it doesn't feel right. So whatever is the missing piece here for you, that's what needs to be worked on to bring this back around.
Well, and this brings up something I think is really important to point out. It's one of the consequences when, I mean, women can do this, but men tend to do this, fall into this trap a little bit more, and that is we make sex too big of a deal. And here's what I mean by that, is that we make it our reset button. The thing where we now feel emotionally better, psychologically better, relationally
our
better.
Our relationship is fixed because we're having sex
exactly.
again. Right.
So then,
especially men think that.
Yes, and so then the woman then feels responsible to take care of the emotional needs of a husband through sex. I'm telling you, that has a bitter and destructive end to it that never will end well. One, because it's not your responsibility, and two, because it shows that he hasn't done his work. He's going to remain mad if you withhold sex for any reason, and very legitimate reasons. Then you get the outburst of his anger. That is a very, very unhealthy and potentially destructive situation.
So you might tell him, I've realized that I've exposed my heart, my body too much too quickly, and I'm going to need to pull back, but I am willing to consider intimacy with you on all levels once I'm seeing your commitment to our family. And going into therapy is a great way to show me that you are committed to us.
Well, I brought that up, and he said that he's willing to. And actually, we have been, but not for this particular reason. I was experiencing some postpartum depression, and he went with me, and he did a couple of sessions, by himself individually, and then we also did one together as a couple.
So
that was
okay. So he's
willing to.
That's perfect.
Well,
So
good. Yes.
That's what Alice is saying there. Really important. You got to get into couples therapy, where everything gets to be talked about, everything gets to be put on the table.
And it's not 3 to 5 sessions.
Yes.
This is going to be longer-term therapy with him.
Because you're talking about putting your family back together and looking at what went wrong, right? Because now there's been enough time, and you guys are remembering what it was like when you first started. But guaranteed, once you move back in together, the old stuff is going to surface if it's not dealt with.
So Maria, we want you to stay on the line and get connected with one of our couples therapists in the area. We're also going to send you a copy of How We Love. And we want you and your husband to work through that process to see what your core patterns are and see why these conflicts keep coming up. And I'm going to send you another copy, another book of Boundaries. And I'm not sure if we have boundaries in marriage, but that would be Oh, we do have boundaries.
I mean, there is a book, Boundaries
in Marriage. If you get the book Boundaries in Marriage, whether we have it or not, get the book Boundaries in Marriage. This will be really, really important for you. And so, Maria, thank you so much for calling in today. We greatly appreciate it. Everyone who shares their lives with us allows us to guide you into greater healing and health and growth, and more fully into God's life for you. It is a great, great privilege. And again, we have Every Man's Battle coming up here very soon. November 5th through the 7th. So in next weekend, really.
Right.
And
all these workshops help us to go way more in depth than we can on radio, right?
Exactly.
So it's an extension of where we can go much deeper with you.
And much more personal. And design it, you feel like it's custom designed for you, even though you're going with it through a bunch of other people. Right. If you're a wife and your life has been flipped upside down painfully by infidelity or the sexual addiction of a spouse, Restore Workshop, again, is specifically designed for you. That's coming up in Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. If you register today, this is the last day, so make it happen. Register today, you get $200 off. Thank you all for being with us. Have a safe and happy weekend, and we look forward to talking to you next week. Be well.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.